our paper is Speaking with Other Animals Through Intuitive Interspecies Communication Towards Cognitive and Interspecies Justice. I'm Dr. MJ Barrett, and I'd like to acknowledge my co-authors and the many contributors to this research from both human and more than human communities and the lands with whom we have worked. This includes animals, animal communicators, elders, traditional knowledge keepers, and ancestors. I'd also like to acknowledge our main funders noted on the slide, particularly the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada and the University of Johannesburg. So our main point in this paper is that openness to examining and practicing intuitive forms of communication across species is a necessary diplomacy in seeking interspecies cognitive justice, in deepening understandings of animal perspectives, and in supporting the flourishing of all beings. So next slide, please, Alice. Thanks. The chapter focuses on the experience of intuitive interspecies communication, or for short, IIC. IIC is a capacity that anyone can develop, and I expect that many of you in the room already engage with it. It acknowledges both human and animal capacities, which have yet to be fully and explicitly recognized in the field of animal geographies. And I think explicitly is probably the key word here. And this is given in part due to the tricky terrain of knowledge and species hierarchies. So IIC is the experience of immediate two-way communication between humans and other animals. It occurs without any form of visual interaction or physical signaling, and it's independent of physical proximity. So in other words, you can be physically present with the animal, but it doesn't matter. The animal could be on the other side of the world, and the communication can occur regardless. In the paper, we offer several examples of the method in use, all by individuals who work as professional animal communicators. We cite, for example, Mary Getton, who recounts a communication session with the orca, Granny. Over a 2-year period of time, she and Rafaela Pope interviewed Granny from a distance. The two animal communicators often met in Florida, where Mary lived, and interviewed Granny as she was freely swimming off the coast of Vancouver Island in the Pacific Ocean. Her book is an absolutely fascinating read. We also provide an example from Winter Worstrom, a well-known South African animal communicator who is frequently called upon to troubleshoot complex and often conflicting relations between humans and wild animals. These communicative encounters involve a wide range of skills, that enable the exchange of visceral feelings, emotions, mental impressions, and thoughts, as well as visuals in the mind's eye. So if you think of all those intuitive registers that we often engage with, but don't pay as much attention to, and I think Carly mentioned some of those, and so did some of the other presenters, those are the ones we really, really need to attend to and attune using this method. So using IIC as a method not only acknowledges animals as active partners in knowledge production, but it also offers, through the translation capacities of skilled human practitioners, methods to facilitate deeper understandings, as well as more equitable collaborations and negotiations across species. Next slide. IIC and the ideas we present in the paper take animal standpoint seriously. They acknowledge interspecies connectedness in ways that go beyond what is normally recognized in modern Western paradigms and practices. They respond to growing calls for epistemological stretching and ontological diversity in animal geographies and other fields. And engaging with IIC as research has great transformative potentials, both for scholarship, but for us researchers personally. It has had significant impacts on our relationship with animals, non-human animals and human animals alike. It's had a significant impact on our understanding of what constitutes scholarly work, as well as relations with Indigenous elders and knowledge keepers. Learning IIC pushes us to more deeply understand the practices that are common to and supported within Indigenous cultural contexts, and challenges us to reconsider our relationships with more than human beings. This is not a practice of appropriating cultural knowledges, but rather amplifying our own capacities to engage with other species in less anthropocentric ways. It helps us move beyond human exceptionalism and decolonize our relationships with other non-human animals. Next. So further transformative potentials are also embedded within the closing section of our paper, which identifies more implications for us as researchers, and some questions for further research, including things like the first point on this slide, which is informed consent. For example, this morning we were working with a professional animal communicator in a workshop, and we're interviewing a service dog in training to discern whether he actually wanted to work as a service dog. And the responses to that question were quite intriguing and fascinating. And I think I'm going to close there with that intrigue and pass it on to the next speaker.